favorite part of this episode was the ending, because it was nice to see, even if it was only briefly, the Doom Patrol, all of them back together again in the mansion. You know, the Chief shows up for the episode, but then he has to go back because he made that deal with Mr. Nobody, and, you know, he has to honor the deal. But I hope that the Chief has an ultimate plan in place to, you know, double-cross Mr. Nobody, because it just doesn't make sense to me that he would just go back with Mr. Nobody just like that after coming back. You know, like, he could be like, screw you, Mr. Nobody, I'm back with my team now. But again, he can't, because Mr. Nobody is so all-powerful in this episode and the whole show that I guess he can't really double-cross him without, you know, Mr. Nobody coming in to mess everything up. And that does bring me to the conclusion that Mr. Nobody is really way overpowered in this show. I can't see how the Doom Patrol can ever hope to defeat him because, you know, he can appear and disappear whenever he wants. He can go anywhere he wants. He knows he can see everything everyone's doing, or appears to. He can go back in time and alter with that in the present. It's like, what does someone that powerful... How do you defeat someone that powerful? And what does Mr. Nobody want, ultimately? Like, anyone with that much power could probably instantly kill the Doom Patrol, but he doesn't. He toys with them. So that makes me think he's got to have some kind of weakness that, you know, they'll reveal later in the episodes. There's got to be something keeping him from doing what he's got to do. And, you know, maybe the Chief will be the one to find it out, or some other member. And I say that, you know, because he's a lot more powerful in the show than he is in the comics. In the comics, Mr. Nobody can never do things like this. Although different writers have given him different powers over the time, he has inconsistent powers. Originally, he could, like, drain the sanity from people, and he could find things people forgot, like, you know, things nobody wanted, you know, like, I guess, like, as a metaphor for his name, Mr. Nobody, he found things that are wanted by nobody. It was a kind of metatextual, metaphysical power that he was given by the writer Grant Morrison originally, and over the years, people would add powers to him. He has an inconsistent power set, basically. In the show, they make him seem almost like a god. And I'm wondering, you know, what does the Doom Patrol do against that? We shall see. And I mentioned the Chief before. It was nice to see him again. And in the show, they had him, you know, eating chocolate. Like, he was eating it at the end of the episode when, you know, he was driving Jane away from the mental institution. And I think when he first came back to the mansion, you know, and was rifling, you know, through his file cabinet, he was eating something. I think he was eating chocolate. I couldn't tell what it was, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's what it was supposed to be. In the comics, the Chief really likes chocolate. That's like his thing. Like, he just likes to eat chocolate. That's like his favorite dessert. And so that's cool. And this show is actually referencing, I think, all the different eras of the Doom Patrol. Like, so far, the original 60s one is in there. Because the characters, there are elements of the 60s, you know, Doom Patrol in there. There's a lot. Grant Morrison's Doom Patrol is heavily here. But also the Gerard Way Doom Patrol. Gerard Way writes the Doom Patrol right now in the comics. And one of Jane's personalities is Dr. Harrison, the psychiatrist personality. And the Dr. Harrison persona of Jane's wasn't introduced, I don't think, until this recent Gerard Way era. So it seems to me like the writers are pulling stuff from all the different elements of the Doom Patrol. Not just, you know, one or two of them, which is cool. I mean, those of us who read the comics will get a kick out of that. Those of you who don't read the comics won't notice or really care as long as you like the show. And going to Jane real quick, this is a quasi-Jane-centric episode. Hopefully you learn more about her past, but the thing about her storyline that I found most notable was that abusive orderly in the beginning. Now, I know, like, hospital orderlies, there are a lot of hospital orderlies that are corrupt and horrible and everything, and the show was showing that. I don't think the show was trying to portray with this guy that behavior was acceptable, but I would think that an orderly who was that abusive towards the patients, I mean, your hospital would have to be extremely corrupt not to fire someone like that. I mean, he was beating Jane down in the beginning, and I was like, I don't know, is that level of violence? I don't know. I've never been in a mental institution or anything. I don't know how it is, but I would think that an orderly beating a patient up that badly, it's like, dude, you're not going to be working here anymore. Is that how it is? Because, I mean, that seemed excessive to me. The special effects for the eye that was floating in the sky did look kind of wonky to me, and I'm wondering if they did that on purpose or if it was just, you know, deficient, like a low special effects budget, because it looked like something somebody with, like, After Effects would do on YouTube or whatever. It didn't look like something that you would see in, like, a professional TV show. You know, I could tell, like, the eyes floating in the sky it looked very low budget compared to, the caliber of special effects we've seen everywhere else in the show. And that kind of stuck out to me. We saw it first in the last episode and then in this episode. But I'm wondering if, the visual effects and the directors, the team, they did that on purpose. Because, the Doom Patrol does like to emphasize the silliness as, being in on the joke, So maybe they did it on purpose. But if not, it looked really low rent to me. And, we're seeing the continuing evolution of Rita as a character. She's supposed to, like, be, a selfish, self-interested character. But, I don't know, we've seen a lot of, her more emotional, like, I guess, good side in the show. Like, she does seem to care about the other Doom Patrol members. And, last week she really wanted to help Elliot, even though she kind of chickened out at the end out of fear. That's how I saw it with the nuns. But here, she reaches out to Elliot and tries to help him and feels bad for him. So, I don't know. Rita, in this so far in this show, she doesn't really seem, in the way that she's written and acts, as horrible as, I think we're supposed to believe. And I know they're doing that because they need to make her a likable character so the audience will like her, but I think they can make her a little... If they want to go with her, being really, like, kind of cold a lot of times, they could make her a bit colder to be true to that portrayal of the character, if that's what they're going for, than they are now. Because right now, she doesn't seem cold to me. She just seems, like, weird and proper and damaged. She doesn't seem like, a really selfish, harsh person. Not any more selfish than an average person. As for this episode, I did like it, although the only thing that stands out to me are the things I mentioned. I don't really see how they're going to defeat Mr. Nobody, but there's got to be something up. Something that, someone will realize later, or some weakness he has, because otherwise it basically seems like they're fighting God, and nobody on the Doom Patrol seems to have that level of power, so I don't know what they're going to do. But again, he has to have some kind of limitation, because if he's that powerful, why not just out and kill all of them? Snap his fingers, and it's like, you're all just poof, you're dead. But he can't do that. So, why can't he? There's a weakness Mr. Nobody has, and we'll find out eventually. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like it on YouTube and subscribe to the channel because I appreciate your viewership, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.